Okay, I already gave the presentation who I am, so I will cut that apart. And there are no new. How many are new today? Who was not here yesterday? One. Just one person. So if you want to know the detail later, I give you my address. So I quickly go through the first part here. So a little bit about myself. I will not take that then, and I will go quite quickly to social entrepreneurship and social innovation, and basically the Swedish case, which is really both social entrepreneurship and social innovation. It's a combination, I would say. I told about yesterday, this is going on, the whole social change. It's not just a concept, it's conferences, new arenas, new ways of measuring, new accounting practices, new systems. For example, B-Labs is, just to give you an example, that's something that came out of Stanford in the middle of late 90s, because the legal framework in US is that if you are a shareholder, owns a part of the company, and the founder or the CEO, the general manager, say, we want to take responsibility for this community, or we will start a charity or whatever. One of the shareholders might say, no, you should maximize the profit, I sue you. And you know, in the US it's a large money. If you have a hot cup of coffee on the hand, you have 10 million in like legal suits or something. So this B-Labs is now applied in 13 states in US. And that means you can be certified as a B Corp, benefit corporation. And in reality, that means that you can take responsibility without getting sued. And as a consequence, you need to fulfill a few requirements as well as a company. Be more transparent and tell about what you're doing, basically. But this is just to see that the legal frameworks are very important. And we don't have, in Sweden, according to the law, you should maximize the profit. But if a CEO or the board say that you can do this, or we should take more responsibility, they will not be sued. But in US, it's really a fact. And also, it's a whole Rockefeller Foundation, which is really one of the big, powerful actors supporting this development around social entrepreneurship, social innovation. They have started something called GEAR in New York, which is a framework for developing the industry to understand all the accounting practice. A few platforms that are working with this, like social innovation. There are hundreds around the world popping up while we're sitting here, doing roughly the same. Sharing information, collecting information, so you can start to act on the challenges you have. But no, to get it more effective, you need to collect the information, which you have done today. So if you put the challenges of yesterday and the assets today you started to work on, and the way forward, you start to have something to really work on and create the market, a new market for new business. And of course, here you have the potential business opportunities. The health, environment, work, education, social technology will foster and make it easier, and so forth. And the model for social enterprise is that you start with a problem, which we did yesterday. We identified problems, so that's opportunities to work on. Yeah, the Swedish case, and I think here as well, it's a growing, older generation growing up. There will be aging population, but it's also very much discussion about exclusion. Sweden is the country in the world, I think, that has taken most refugees, if you look at the population size. That means in a bigger town like Gothenburg, Malmö, and Stockholm. That's really the three towns. There you have ghettos. You can say ghettos where it's really, I live in one myself, so I know it, and I will explain it. Where in this case where I live, Bergstrand, there are 91% people with foreign background. Almost no Swedish people. They are totally excluded from work opportunities or whatever. High unemployment, of course, that's all over Europe, but here is maybe 60% around youth. So you come from maybe Iraq or Somalia, all the war zones basically in the world. Maybe you don't have the education even if you come from another country that is broken, like in Somalia case. You have the root in the rural village, the culture, and that's what you have. And you come to a system, a Swedish system, which is a lot of bureaucracy and rules, and you should know lots of stuff. So you can imagine to come there and start to work basically. And also you have the rural landscape in the north. People are leaving the villages. So in this space we create social entrepreneurship. That's the space for social entrepreneurship in Sweden. And since we have a welfare system, you pay reasonable much tax, and the state takes care of the problems. That's the social contract. So, for example, if you're unemployed, you get minimum, not wage, but you get minimum grants. So that is the context you are working with. So, you can see here also, it takes almost 9 years for a woman of foreign background and approximately 7 years for men of foreign background to get an employment in Sweden. That's a waste of human capital. So we have so many programs from European foundations, from social fund, putting millions and millions and millions in programs for education and so on, but still when you evaluate, nothing happens. It's just going around in the system. We should have a new program. The politicians say we should solve this because we have all these integration problems. Go out there, what are the needs? And then they bring in the experts and nothing happens. And a new program is coming. So it's a waste of money and no solutions. So in that space is that you start to work as a social entrepreneur. And that is where you find social enterprises in Sweden. I think we have 300 registered social enterprises. Of them, 50% or maybe 60% work with exclusion issues to get people into the workforce. So quite few are working with environmental issues, for example. So here is one type of case, culture and film club. It's difficult in the film industry to get to work if you want to go there in education. And also, of course, if you're from a foreign background, it's even more difficult. So we set up this project in Bergstrand, this area, the ghetto, where professional filmmakers, they're really the best in Sweden, from making the manus to the actors, Stellan Skarsgård, the Hollywood stars and all, they came there and they make the film together with young and amateurs. And during the project you learn, it's a mentorship program, you really learn how to do the film, and then you go out and present it. So it's a combined education and to get closer to employment, to learn about companies. And I would say you have hundreds of similar projects going on in Sweden. So it starts when you get some grants from the state for doing this. So that's one income. And this is an organization, is a civil organization. And then later on, maybe you can get some income because you sell, you show the film and you take some income. So that is where you start to become a social entrepreneur from being a non-profit that gets the money from the grants. So very often you have both combinations. You start with a lot of grant and then you start to find a small income. In average, I think there are around 70% grants coming in and 30% income. In Scotland, at average in social enterprise, it's the opposite. 70% comes from income, 30% from grants. So that is roughly the model. And we make, it's also, what could be said about this model is that the average cost for a film is 3 million US. 3 million US for a short, for a long film. What's that now? Long film.
One night movie.
Yeah, one night movie. Not a Hollywood film, but a low cost production.
US?
In this way,
2 million US dollars?
3 million, not a Hollywood production, but
dollars.
in Sweden it cost $3 million. In this case, it costed $1 million. So 1 million. So it's from the film industry. It has a strategic task to. This is an innovation in the creative industry because it's really high quality. So the students come in, they get the mentorship. At the same time, it's really professional, and they are very engaged just to sit with the star or who make the music, and they are part of the whole process. So it's very integrated learning, and it leads something, and you get closer, you get new contacts to get into the market as well.
But they are like in the team, or they are like shadowing the professionals?
They are doing, they are cool, that's part of it. They are doing it, really doing it together. It's not that
Not just looking at it.
That's very important. You co-produce. It's not one you come here and you should do that. No, you sit down and what should we do with the star? So that's empowerment. You really feel that, how you can imagine yourself. So here's the, you can say, the man behind the industry.
So and the final product is
The
good
what
one.
Yeah, you can say this started as the Million Program project 13 years back in Sweden. Wasted $300 million. They had evaluated, just nothing happened. A few like spots here and there happened. This was one of them that developed further. But he was himself unemployed when he came from Iraq. But he was an entrepreneur. It's an incredible story how he survived with enough money for 2-3 years and found new approaches how to develop all these ideas. So this is quite typical case. I think it's the same in Norway. You get some funding from unemployed people and you start to sell the product, the film, the music. You hold seminars, the learning process. They have made a film about the process that they go out and sell now. So they have the film itself and also the process about the film.
Oh.
So they try to find how can we sell the products. Now, one of the projects, there are 5-6 ongoing, is the Mobile Culture School. So since there are a lot of segregation in this area, and there are 11 parts of Gothenburg where people are segregated basically everywhere, but some in rich places and some in poor. So they go around the school and like have tell about your dreams, and they follow here. So you mix the people in the schools. So it's a good way also to bridge communities, to get new contacts.
Could I do it, interrupt the lessons and then they go and have an event and...
Yes, it's should be as much as a school as possible. You sit together, what should we do? Let's film obviously when you start, but otherwise it's quite open. And then you create it, and then you go out, and in the end you will show it, and then you will try to sell it. So
what kind of product do they?
Products, they create a film to sell.
Okay.
You know, film product or music recording. You have the same with music. Theater groups.
Are the students that are doing it, they are part of the process?
Yes, everything, they're part of the whole way. And universities come there maybe to get some more, so really working with knowledge integrated. And you should be part of it and do it together. Here's, I told that Swedbank the other day, my life, it was the first woman who became Ashoka. Do you know Ashoka? Has anyone heard about it?
Yeah, it was some kind of religion.
Yeah.
No, it's the world's largest social entrepreneur organization.
No, you told me yesterday something.
So Ashoka started in the early 80s of a guy from McKinsey, the consultancy, about fellows. You could be a super social entrepreneur, so it's quite hard selection. Are you good enough to be a Ashoka fellow? So she was the first in Sweden to become a Ashoka fellow who started this. It's not so extremely innovative, I would say. It's a mentorship program, basically. The group, the target group, is youth. It's women, 17 to 25, some around there. They have just ended or last year at secondary school with good documents. They are quite good students. And companies have gone into partnership with them in CSR, from this corporate social responsibility, and offer them good mentors. So now they have second chance, a program for 1 year where they on continuous basis learn, like the first culture school. So here is in another environment, it's not culture and creativity, but it's the same type of activities you do in practice. Once a month you meet your mentor, what is the progress of you? They come out and give a presentation maybe of the progress, so they learn how to pitch their ideas. That's a part of the entrepreneurial process. And it's also telling about what the home culture. So in 1 or 2, they have 20 companies connected to this mentorship program, and 2 of them they have started to make culture products embedded in clothing, for example. They know, because there are around 20% of the Swedes have foreign background. So it's important to understand how do they think in another way if you want to sell products. So they are like also testing different products and product development.
But if you're lucky to be a Ashoka fellow, you have 3 years of scholarship.
So that is the investment they make. You can work on your ID for 3 years. But they try to increase in all ways the income they get in the business. Can these, in this case, young women, tell about their life, their dreams, my life. So it's much branded, and they get some income for that. So that's the source of income. Mentorship, education, various opportunities. Here's the other Adopt a Bee, another type of youth. It's one of the few in environmental issues. And the bees are disappearing, likely here as well, I guess. Have you heard about this with
We don't
bees?
have that. It's not matter.
What it is?
But you have heard about
In America it is. It's not a lottery happening. I have a
Okay.
talk with the lottery.
yeah, but otherwise it's a big global issue around the bees are disappearing. And
Like
why?
real bees?
Real bees, yeah.
Okay.
Bees that makes honey.
America.
Mm.
Thank you.
Honey
Yeah.
bee.
And they have a bigger task as well, the pollination. So it's really a lot of people are worried here globally.
No.
So anyway,
So if the bees disappear, there's no honey,
Oh my gosh.
no flowers.
no flowers. Yeah.
Oh
Sugar
yeah.
and syrup.
Oh, there was a cartoon about the bees.
They do it manually. They do pollination with people. They go like that in many places in Spain, for example. They have automatically pollination instead of the bees. It's quite incredible, but it's true. But anyway, she wants to do something about this, so she invests in beehives. So she invests the money and she starts to build where the bees are. And then you can buy a share. That's the income. That's the business model.
I bought a share.
So you can buy a share for 300 Swedish crowns, $40.
So you buy a home for bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, you exactly. They market as like a place for bee.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into here, it's in English as well, so you can see them.
And then I got 2 boxes of beautiful honey back.
That's return, how they market. So they are very skilled in product design. That's an important part of social enterprise. Really, what is the value you get back? A personal story. These are your bees or so.
The slogan is adopt a bee, honey for free.
Ah, so smart.
Yeah, you can do this here if you want. Because you have bees here.
Yes, we have. I never heard about this issue that the bees are.
Yeah, but in Sweden it's you hear
Already
every day in the big magazines, or so then you can start to sell it. But
Good business.
exclusion is now definitely number one. Every day on the front page, and here bees environment is also something. You get 2 years back in the end of the summer. Your personal. Here is from a US case, and Black Girls Code. It's also exclusion. It's one of the most famous social enterprise cases right now. So Latino and black girls, they are the most excluded in US. So they have started to work together with Stanford, Berkeley, Harvard, with the best coders. And yeah, really, that's a school program basically as well. How to develop businesses. And the model is not different from what I said. They get education basically. And they do it in a cool way, and they learn to code and make a product and 3-minute coding and different types of ideas here. So very, also what they are really skilled in US, and what's important is the branding of course, and they always have a community page for the social media. So they connect up a big word of mouth, the marketing channel. So look at the good social enterprises that have a big social community that will be your share. You can't afford it maybe normally to buy.
In Norway we have this kids have a code. Kids can do the code. It's also a social project that you go to schools and learn the kids to use the technical IT codes, because it's good for society.
There's also from America Ruby on Rails for girls.
Yeah.
They were in Latvia also this year.
Yeah. Also, trying to find the page. Does it open here? So here is in the same area where I'm born, where I live now. It's Bergstrand, where there's so much excluded people, 91%, and people live in. It looks the same. The Million Program it's called. They built 1 million houses in the late 60s in Sweden, with incredible challenges now to renovate all apartments, but also the exclusion part. So here, just to get the youth into the workforce is very challenging. So we do a lot of activities to try to activate people. So we have a special called Time Bank. It's an alternative currency. Have you heard about Time Bank?
Yes.
Some others? What
How
have
it
you heard?
works? I heard about that. That you are giving something that you know, or something
Yeah.
that you can do, to another, but you are actually change.
The asset is time.
Yeah, the asset is time, that you are something doing to...
It's a social innovation. It came from an American guy called Edgar Kahn, and it's to engage communities when you don't have any money in a structural way. And it's a really social innovation. So the point is, if you don't have money, you have time and talent, maybe knowledge. So you create different type of platforms where you can exchange something.
It's like barter, something
That's
also
barter,
could be...
But what's happening now when you have social technology, you can start to do it very effectively. I'm looking for a hairdresser, I'm looking for that and that. So you can start to create activities and economy even if you don't have money. So we have done this since 2007, and with the coordinators, we didn't have a platform, not a social technology. So we had a person going out, do you want to do something with another person? Because people sit home are very passive with a lot of problems. You can just imagine all the challenges. So over time, over the years, we have done, I think, 160 projects and activated thousands of youth. And we have concentrated on mainly young girls that are not in the sport clubs, for example. They start to play football, but not the girls. So they are inactive and they get into different challenges out there. So we have focused on that. And it's not a traditional association style as well, that you do every Monday, you do that and that. Here they co-produce together. They come to the project, our project manager, who connects different organizations and people, and ask, do you want to do something for each other? And then they do it, and then that's over, and then they do a new thing. So they create new activities.
So it's becoming like, I just want, because it's also in my mind a lot of time, and it's like popping up all the time, but I think what is the challenge is that it is even, so it cannot be sustainable, or...
Yes, and what's going on, this is what I try to explain, that to go from total exclusion to work is major step. So just to start to activate the people to go outside the home is a big challenge.
Yes.
And before you get and start to have an employment, that's 9 years as a woman, and the majority, I think, they will never get in. So you need to work both on activating the people just to reduce the problems, but in some cases you can start to do social enterprise. So there you have a combination of social innovation and social enterprise. Something of this you can start to earn some money out, but the rest will be activating at lower cost for society. So you work in both things at the same time. And today we have 3 full-time employees here. So I think 80% of our income come from grants, from foundations who pay for the activities. And they like it, so we have got quite much funding for. We can also sell the ID to other towns in Sweden and be project manager. It's a social franchise, so you can give out the ID. But we have also started to sell a few products. A few products is coming out from here. And one of them is that it's not just that you don't get into the society, there is that older people don't meet younger people. So the first product we sold, and people demanded, they wanted to pay, was a young, learn older people mobile phone.
Oh.
So we had that as a project, we applied for it, got the grant, and it was so successful, so we went out to libraries in the end and told about it, and another library came back, can you come here again? This was really appreciated, and they wanted to pay. So that is how you go from grant and maybe someone wants to pay for it. And it's popping up more and more, so now we try to, that the kids who do a project, they go out and in the end they sell a few workshops or something. To try to go from grant to income, start to do. So that's the road, that's from going from association to become a social enterprise. And it's a hard way, it's a hard step in reality.
What is with these buildings then?
Well,
So
it
all
was
these
like
buildings?
the Swedish model that it was poor conditions and not good housing after the Second World War, and the Social Democrats in Sweden, they had a solution. And they built the Million program. They built big houses in the suburbs. And at that time it was a good solution because people got better apartments, but today it become ghetto instead. So what was once time a solution is now a problem. And not that long time back, 30 years, 40
Same
years.
in Norway.
And here.
Okay.
This time bank is happening in that district?
Yes, it started, you go in, it's a real explosion today around it with the new mobile apps, and it's quite fun. New social innovations there where you can get 40 credits and you can start even at the global level exchange. I can do a homepage, can you do that and that, and you can start to build up social enterprises. So one in New Zealand, so just recently you can get 40 minus credits, startup credit. That's your cash, like a bank gives out.
It is something really. Whoa.
You exchange skills.
Yeah, at the
and
global
services.
level.
For free.
Yeah, for free with the exchange of the talent. You don't go to buy for lots of money, you can do it yourself.
That's very common for social entrepreneurs because you don't have the money to make a website or to build up your company, makes events, and then you exchange. If I do this for you, you can do this for me.
Yeah, I get the idea. I just wondering why it doesn't become also in Riga.
Because you don't know, but maybe no one have told about the social technology platform. When you it's about information access, that you need to know what's going on. And the majority of these.
What do you mean by social platform?
You need to know that this is happening. That is probably, you don't know that this is happening. That's probably why it doesn't happen. So you need to get.
You need access to information, you know. Like my African partner, she didn't know anything outside her country, and now she has access to through Facebook and Skype and Google Hangout to are connected with other people in other countries, and they give her input in thinking new ideas, other ways of doing things.
Okay.
So that's how you open your mind.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how we learn and get ideas. Oh, you know, so.
How does the platform exist? How does it work? Is it a couple of enthusiasts or?
In our case, we haven't come to that level that we have platform because of legal restriction. For example, in Sweden, this is not allowed more to $150. So you can't have a babysitter or something like that because that's against the law. You should tax for that. But so some political parties, they want to raise up to 1,500. Then you could create the economy directly around this. So that's a shame.
Do you mean the social technology?
Yeah, the implementation of the idea, because it's a very nice idea.
Yeah, and I heard about it a lot of times, but now I'm figure out what is why it doesn't happen till now, because we all know that it is yes great, but how it's really work. Yeah? Kā tu to pirmo šutu dabū, lai viņš vispār aiziet?
And you can go into later and look at the real cases. Here's Skillshare from US. It's already a platform where you can share skills.
But who has the platform?
A social enterprise normally. A social entrepreneur has started it.
Okay, and where does it get its money?
Some
Or
small-
what's
The monetary fee you
started it.
get normally from
Like
two
a
sources.
meal.
On the one hand can be brands, companies who support projects and they pay for it, the platform. The others that you pay a small fee for the information you access.
Okay.
So that's the
like a
typical
membership
model.
or something.
So brand for CSR, access to
Small
others.
money for to
From a
be
lot
the
of
part
people.
of ETS.
Nu jā, tad arī attiecīgi varētu nodrošināt to ko koordinēšanas un pastāvēšanas momentu.
Jā.
Vai
Es vienkārši zinu kaut kādus 5 cilvēkus, kas ir laika banka, un tās laika bankas vēl joprojām nav.
I think we are waiting now for the next, but
No,
just one last year platform.
what is this, you know, the now about the grain of this idea becoming grown in like longer time.
Here is another platform now. It's they see that you waste a lot of knowledge in the world when you make thesis in the university. It's just thrown away. So a professor in San Francisco, he saw the students throw away it, so he wanted to sell it to make a market for theses. So here is a marketplace where you can sell your thesis, basically, to increase the value of knowledge. And
Who are the buyers?
Whoever could be.
I can buy it.
Yeah.
we have that, but it's not. I don't think it's a social thing. We have kind of a similar thing. You can upload your academic work. It can be various levels, and other people can buy it. And usually that's just cheating, yeah, on exams, or because there are many teachers who have seen like
But
200 of this essay in this subject this year only.
But they are connected then to 50, 60 partner universities to get students to start to understand. So they build the marketplace there with the network, the markets, comes the branding and the target groups.
Another next level is that in Fraxel where they are connected with uzņēmumi, businesses, and they like say you will write me something and it's also
Okay, I think it's fine. We don't have much more time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this is really, I think, the big trend out there. They make it because it's so much scale. It's not a one person who goes around. There can be, I think they have almost 1 million people inside. So then you can start to have a real market.
And it's a very good idea because you know normally people from the university they can make write a lot of wonderful theses, and no one is looking at it because they don't have a integration thing. So of course things can be copied.
And get in contact with me and send a mail, and I can give you links to different models like this if you're interested. Okay? I saw down there that the time is out, I think.
Yes, because we have a
Yeah.
new speaker. Will we have any chance somehow to share those links which you showed to the people?
Yeah, the easiest is that I think everyone here has my card, and I can give you a few links where I have collected many of these platforms. You saw, by the way, many of them, this type of platforms. So there you can go in and look, and if you just look at Google at business models slide share, you can get 1,000 business models and cases and how they work, and so it's unlimited.
Unlimited access.
Yeah.
Thank you.